We are on air. Okay, well, welcome back to the Keeper's Fellowship. This is the Gears of Heaven campaign. We are in Mystery 1, Session 3, and starting a little bit late tonight, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Who can remember and give us a quick recap of what happened last week?
The house exploded. We found Mr. Smith, Hiram Smith, skinned alive in his office, and after some snooping, we discovered that whatever it was that caught him made a nest out of the clothes of victims, and also that there were multiple victims. We went back to the Smith's household and discovered that Mrs. Smith had been replaced by whatever this creature was that was posing as Mrs. Smith, and she tried to destroy, or she tried to blow the house up with us inside it, so, to get us off her tail, but we managed to escape just in time.
And you actually managed to put out the fire and save the evidence.
Right, and then also Biff upstairs looked out a window and saw himself in the suit.
Yes. The plot thickens.
This is actually the second
Biff sighting.
Biff sighting that we've had. And we also discovered that all of the banking-related records had been ransacked out of the upstairs. So there's some indication that perhaps these doppelgangers are stealing the financial assets of the people that they impersonate. So you guys, when we left, you guys had escaped the burning building after having extinguished the flames, or rather capturing the flames into a glowing sphere, a large marble-looking thing. This very strange thespian from Detroit is leading you with this weird-looking compass, and you're climbing out of the basement. What do you all do?
You want to follow the...
Well, I think we're going to head back out to the front and gather Andre in the vehicle and see if we can all follow this thing.
All right, well, Andre's sitting out. He's smoking a cigarette, standing outside the bread van. And he sees you running, and he quickly squashes out the cigarette on the sidewalk and hops in the driver's seat and fires up the engine. I guess you guys hop in and drive off. Looking at the needle, it's swinging around somewhat wildly and then sort of sets off to the north.
Let's head north.
Guys, do we really want to head north, though? Shouldn't we kind of regroup and see if we can come up with a way to beat this thing?
Well, the thing is do we want a chance losing it?
That's
Or,
right.
I mean, how long? Well, actually, how long will this spell be good for?
It was a day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's reliable for up to 24 hours. After that, it requires a bit more magic to keep it going. You can, in theory, keep it going for up to a week or two. But you're going to have to keep investing more energy into it to keep it recharged, because sunrise degrades the magic.
I remember that the thing was on to Mal early, so it knows that he's chasing it. So that's another thing to keep into consideration. It could just skip town.
Okay, that's true.
I mean, because we've still got a dumpster full of bodies behind the HVAC store. We've got the body in the HVAC shop. We've got one on the run. We don't know what happened to the original Mrs. Smith. We don't know for sure what happened to son Jimmy, who's supposedly having a picnic with the neighbors.
Let's go kick some ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right, sure
I guess
thing,
we should.
Biff.
Yeah, I guess we don't really have time. We should follow this thing.
All right, so you get in the car. You tell Andre to drive north. I guess Mal is sitting in the passenger seat.
Sure.
All right,
Yeah, because
so
you got to kind of direct Andre.
all right, so you guys are. Let's assume that you guys have rigged up some sort of safety straps in the back that you can, like a subway thing where you like reach up and hold, and so you're able to pilot this thing fairly easily. Are you driving like wildly or kind of at a normal pace?
I think it really is going to depend on what Mel is saying about how this thing is going. I think we're going to be following the road and the normal stuff, and then he's going to be saying dear left or right, so forth.
Okay, so the needle, as Mal holds the compass kind of up on the dashboard, the needle is kind of bouncing. It's like very sort of erratic, but generally pointing in a northerly direction. And you guys follow this leading up the lane towards where the meteor impact was. You drive up and get up to the remainder of the farmhouse. I mean, there is maybe a quarter of the building left standing. The rest has been blown away.
So we're back at the Willowsickle Lodge.
You're back at the Willowsickle Lodge, right at the edge of the crater, and the needle starts just spinning.
I think we found our spot.
Hold on just a second. I got to fix it.
Oh, toilet was running.
Guess it was running.
We'll edit that part out.
Sounded like we had a stuck toilet in there.
Your toilet was running. You had to go catch it, huh?
Yeah, I had to go. Had to go throw it in the slammer. All right, so you guys, what are you doing?
We're gonna get out of the vehicle.
All right, you get out of the vehicle.
So we can't see anything around, but the thing is like spinning around now. It's not pointing in any particular direction.
It's kind of spinning like very erratically, like right to left to right to left is bouncing. And it's kind of pointing more towards the house, like it keeps going back toward that direction. And then it'll start to bounce back again.
Was there a basement in that house? Anybody remember?
I don't think you explored in the house.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was the lodge, right?
Yeah, there's a big lodge. Yeah, there's
we
like
talked the old guy out. I thought we did go inside.
If you did, you went into the bar area, like the main floor, but you didn't go upstairs, and I definitely don't recall you going into the basement or the cellar or anything like that.
Who's going in with me?
Well, let's all go in.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so you guys come into the rickety old build. I mean, the building is. Let me try to give you a description of this. So the crater or the impact of the meteor was almost exactly where the barn was, and it left a crater about maybe 100, 200 yards around and about maybe 50 yards deep. I mean, it's a huge, huge crater, and it's still smoking. It knocked all the trees down, several hundred feet around that even, and there's just everything's burnt and charred. The main house, the lodge, 75% of it was just obliterated, but there's still just like 1/4 of, or one third of this thing, and actually it'd be like one quarter of this thing is still standing, but it's like a shell on one side. So there's one wall, a part of another wall, parts of the roof, and there's just everything else is collapsed on one side. The door is not there, but there is a window that is open.
Who wants to go in?
Okay, we're just going to walk around the wreckage? And
Mel would go in with the compass, yeah.
All right, so you're going to crawl in through the window?
Sure.
All right, so you crawl in through the window, and you're in a devastated bar area. It's like a front room that what seems to be holding up the side is there's a large stone fireplace that was against the far east wall, and that fireplace seems to be supporting this wall and keeping it from collapsing. there is a section of like an old wooden bar with like bar stools and a collapsed shelving unit behind it. And there is a door that leads from behind the bar back towards where maybe the kitchens would be.
Is there any sign of anyone like coming through any of these directions?
Well, it's strewn with debris, so I mean
Okay.
it's definitely it'd be very hard to tell at this point. But what you can see is there's some of that black slimy stuff over the bar.
So do you tell us this and beckon us to come in?
He'd be kind of explaining out the window.
By the way, it's very dark in here.
Okay, that's not great.
So the daylight's not really getting in through the shattered. There weren't very many windows to begin with, and most of them have been collapsed. So very dark, gloomy, dusty.
Sure.
Fortunately, I have a flashlight, so I come in.
Would come in handy.
All right.
All right, are the rest of you just waiting out on the porch?
Nope, I'm gonna crawl in.
All right, so
I'll,
Biff,
I'll go in. I'll leave. Well, my
Joseph.
gun.
Okay, you guys both are able to
Can
crawl
we
in with.
see any like lanterns or anything we can light?
Yeah, okay, if you want. There's actually an old-fashioned like oil lantern that's sitting on the shelf that miraculously wasn't knocked over.
All right. So who's the smoker in the group?
You need a light over there.
Who's gonna match? Let's light that thing up.
Now's not magic.
Light it with magic.
Let's say lighting the lantern's a fairly trivial event. You're able to find some fireplace matches or something and get it
Oh,
lit.
okay. That's right. The fireplace is right there.
Yeah, and it illuminates the room with a sort of dancing, flickering light, and gives you a fair amount of illumination to look around. There's, Morse code. Morse code.
Speaking of fire, was something a fire alarm going off there?
All right, we have light.
All right, so the lights dancing around the room a little bit, casting shadows and reflections. There is some goo trailing over the bar, and there are a lot of shattered old black and white photographs kind of strewn about the floor, mostly military, a lot of German, Nazi type of paraphernalia strewn amongst them.
Well, that's actually not quite all that surprising, given that the werewolves were Nazis, so it makes sense.
This was their hangout. This was
Right.
their den.
The real question is why this thing came back to this place. Could they be connected?
Yeah, maybe the boss of these lichens.
All right, what are you guys going to do?
Mal will investigate the goo on the bar.
Okay, the goo on the bar is basically the same consistency of the stuff that you found in the basement of the Smith home. It was a Smith's. Yeah. The Smith's home that led you up and out the basement window. It's sort of black and tarry. It has the scent kind of varies. In this case, it's sort of a charcoal and licorice smell.
Yeah.
That's a weird smell.
Is it organic?
It is sort of evaporating. It's almost like an ectoplasm.
All right. I'm going to go behind the bar and see where this leads.
All right.
Come
So
on, follow with the light.
the bar, the door that is leading off to the kitchen is kind of jammed off sideways, creating like a triangular opening, and the edges of it have some goo on it. So does the floor leading back into the kitchen. It's going to be kind of a tight squeeze to get into the kitchen.
Okay. Who wants to squeeze through with me?
Well, I've got the lantern, so I'm going with you.
Okay, I'm squeeze through and go, yeah.
All right, who's going first?
I am.
He did.
All right, so I'm going to ask you to make me an act under pressure to get through the door without any damage or getting stuck or anything like that. So if you want to roll in the game room.
Hey.
Got a 9.
That's a 9. So partial success. You get through the door, but the door is kind of shoved out of the way, which causes the roof and everything to start rumbling, and some dust falls and some bits and pieces fall. And you see an old lady with a apron on running across the room, running across the floor with a baseball bat, swinging it down towards your head as you scoot through the door.
Come get some, Granny.
Now, is this old woman like Mrs. Smith, or is
It is Mrs. Smith, yeah.
Yeah, Mrs.
Okay.
So do we think
Although
it's the
she's-
original?
She don't got no apple pies.
Yeah, her features are very distorted. Actually, and only Biff can see this because Biff is like half through the opening, she just looks hideous. A big chunk of her jaw is like elongated and stretched out like candle wax has
Ew.
melted, and she's charging you. What do you do?
Well, I'm going to kick some ass.
All right. Well, how are you going to kick some ass? You
I am
just
going to poke at her head. I'll take a swing at her head with my staff.
from a prone position.
Oh, are you on the ground?
Yeah, he's like
Thrust
crawling
it at
through
her.
this opening. Oh, there you go. Okay, so you're thrusting your staff at her.
Yeah.
Let's make a kick some ass roll.
All right, and it's plus tough.
Plus tough.
I don't tough. Plus 2. Sweet. Yeah.
A 10. That's 11, right? You plus 2, 12. Oh, you already did plus 2.
I already had it in there. Yeah.
So a 10. So you can choose an extra effect. You can gain an advantage and take a +1 forward or give a +1 forward to someone else. You can inflict terrible harm. You can suffer 1 less harm yourself, or you can force them where you want them.
I want to. What was the first one? Inflict extra. Or
That's the second one. Inflict terrible harm gives you a +1 to your harm.
well, I'd like to aim for her eye, take out her eye so she can't see.
Okay, so you're kind of poking upward into her eye,
Yeah.
and your staff is. What was your tags on your staff?
It
Let's
is.
see, Biff. I should know this by now. Magic,
Okay.
blade, +1 harm. So it does 2 harm. You do 3 harm altogether with magic and elemental earth effects.
Is that
And
Georgie?
That's Michael.
That's
being
Michael.
That's Michael being.
All right, Michael.
So you're doing a total of 3 harm to it. And its baseball bat comes down
Oh, here we
and
go.
it does 2 harm to you. Do you have any armor?
Yeah, I've got +2 armor.
+2 armor?
Yeah.
So you take 0 harm, but your staff, you're in a lot of pain, and your staff goes skittering across the floor.
Okay.
The crushing blow on your shoulder just knocks it out of and like knocks the wind out of you.
Okay.
She turns around and starts running towards the other side of the room. What are you going to do?
I'm going to finish squeezing through the door first and go for my staff.
All right, so you squeeze through the door and like roll across the floor and pick up your staff. She swings the bat back around at your face.
Uh-oh.
What do you do?
I'm going to hold up and try to block the bat that's coming at my face.
All right, so that's pretty cool. So I'm thinking that's actually more of an act under pressure to
Yeah, let's
avoid
do
the
that.
damage. So make me an act under pressure roll.
Is that plus anything?
Act under pressure.
I think it's supposed to be cool.
Yeah. could have
Although
technically been a protect somebody, protecting yourself. But it was fun.
For me and Denny, it's sharp now.
Another
Ooh,
10.
yeah.
Boom. You protect, or you're able to act under pressure. Knock her. You basically knock her backwards and knock the bat out of her hand. What's everybody else doing?
Well, I'm pushing myself through the door at this point.
All right, so I'm gonna have you make me an act under pressure roll to get through the opening without any trouble.
I got the 10.
Look at that, man. No problem. You describe your entry into the room, because I think you just pulled off a major.
Well,
What's this look like?
I was gonna say I can hear what's going on, but I'm leading with the lantern, and I just kind of turn sideways and suck my stomach in and stick the arm in with the lantern first, and then just slide on through.
All right, so you're in a good position to do something. Do you want to take another action? You can take in the scene. She just swung with a double overhanded strike down at Biff's head, just as Biff grabs his staff and kind of rolls over and shoves it up and blocks it, knocking the bat backwards out of her hand. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna shoot her.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
Like,
pretty close quarters, so I'm going to make me a kick some ass roll.
Okay, and that's slash.
Bust our eardrums out. Here we go.
Slash roll. You add anything to that?
Kick some ass plus tough, I believe.
I think my tough is like nothing. Yeah, no, it's 1. I have 1 now. And I got a 9.
Yeah, that's partial.
That's partial. Okay, so what's your damage with which weapon are you using?
I'm using the pistol.
Pistol?
Well, what is it here? The 38 revolver. 2 harm close.
2 harm close.
Loud.
So it's
Yeah.
2 harm loud. So there's a loud. Boom! I can't do a gun sound. It's loud. It's deafening. More dust shakes. The roof is kind of rattling and dust is falling. You blow a big chunk of her jaw, her ear, and the side of her face off.
Nice.
And she hisses at you and spits a glob of like phlegm at you, and it starts to burn on your skin, and you take 1 harm.
I have armor.
Okay, how much armor?
1.
1. So
Yeah.
you take 0 harm, but you're in a bunch of pain. It's like it's sizzling, and you're if you don't do something about it, it's going to burn through into your skin. Okay, guys out in the other room, what are you guys doing? You just heard a loud gunshot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in after.
All right. So Joe, how's Joe? Go ahead and make me your act under pressure to get through the door.
Right.
Where is the goo? Is it on my hand, or where is it?
Let's say it's on your you're wearing like sort of a leather protective thing.
Wait.
Oh, wow.
Achiever.
Okay, it's on your sort of your collarbone area, kind of like here on the shoulder. It's like you're wearing like a leather jacket or something to that effect. Describe Joseph's entry into the room. This was impressive. You what did you do? No problem at all.
Smash the door open or something?
Dove through it, landed on it.
I'm not going to say that. You guys have 2 massive successes in a row. There's no longer an act under pressure needed to get through there. You've widened it. Not only did you get through without any issue, you knocked it aside without disturbing the balance of the support. So it's now safe.
Yeah, I think I kind of like shoulder checked my way in, pushed through, and it actually gave way. And I think that Joseph is probably just gonna look around that actually worked. He's not used to being a big strong man, so he's a little proud of himself there. And then he kind of rushes it up to kick this doppelganger's ass.
All right, you see as basically it's half of its face has been blown off. You see the skin and the ear start to knit together. and kind of reform.
Oh.
But the other side of the face just droops down like it's sort of melted wax. And
okay.
she turns around and runs back towards the back of the kitchen.
All right. I'm gonna kick some ass. I'm gonna draw my gun.
Uh-huh.
Okay, is there anything around her that I like a fire extinguisher or a like pressurized thing at all?
The kitchen's in complete disarray, and I don't think they had standard fire extinguisher safety kind of things back then. But
Okay.
I'll say there's a large like a vat or a big kettle of something sitting on the stove beside her. If you want to fire at that, you never know.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a pot shot at that just to see. Maybe I can like.
No, a pot shot.
All right, so you, I'm not going to make you make a roll for this because this is not really any way for her to fight back. You are able, you shoot this kettle of lard or whatever, and it just splashes out all over the place. And she dives like to the left away from it and disappears through like a door. All right, Mal, what's Mal doing?
Okay. Is oh shit, I forgot her name.
Mrs. Smith or
Mrs.
No,
Smith? Mithril?
Mithril is the poison, like the acid, still on her?
yes?
Yeah, it is. It's on my collarbone and it's burning.
Can I try to use some magic to get this shit off of her?
Yeah, actually, I think you can. Let's see. What's use magic? This would kind of qualify as maybe do something that is beyond normal limitations. Let's see. Huh? Use magic. Use magic. So effects: inflict harm, enchant a weapon, do something that's beyond normal. You know what? Let's say that this is actually do or enchant a weapon. So we're going to treat this as giving her armor. We're gonna give her sort of an ablative armor by healing this this armor that she's wearing.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and make your use magic roll.
We're a +2 on that.
All right. Describe your spell to us. What's it look like?
Okay, so he doesn't he doesn't know exactly what to how to get this stuff off without also inflicting more harm on her, since most of his magic is sort of loud and boisterous. So what he does is tries to create some sort of shielding almost to protect her from the.
All right. So make
There
a
we
roll.
go. Okay.
All right. So give me your glitch. The effect is weakened. The effect is short duration. You take 1 harm as magical lashback, or the magic draws immediate unwelcome attention, or it has a problematic side effect.
Okay. Let's go. All right, I'm curious. It draws immediate unwelcome attention.
It draws immediate unwelcome attention. All right. You hear off in the distance sirens coming up the gravel lane.
Oh, shit.
Great.
All right. So, but the benefit though is the acid sort of bubbles up, smooths out, and becomes hardened on her shirt, kind of like almost like a embedded metallic plate.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So it's like we'll give you an extra
This
+1
was like
one
tapping
shot.
on it, like going, "What the heck?" Oh, that's cool.
All right, what are you guys doing?
Gonna come off later?
The old lady has run out down through the cellar door.
Let's keep going.
All right.
I haven't kicked enough ass.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
you
going.
guys,
Follow her
you
down
guys
the
go
door.
over. It's like one of those double swinging vented closet door kind of things.
Oh no,
One
not
of
those
them is
again.
completely off the hinges, and it goes down a wooden staircase into the earthen cellar. And most of the stairs are broken off, but you can still navigate down, and there's like no light down there other than the lantern you have. Who's carrying the lantern?
I've still got the lantern.
All right, so you going to go down the stairs first?
No,
I'm going,
Biff's going first.
but she's closely behind me.
Yeah, I'm right behind him now.
All right, so you get to the
Both my
bottom.
hands are full right now because I've got the gun and the lantern.
Okay, you guys get to the bottom of the stairs, and it's basically a root cellar. There's a couple of big giant, like you'd see in an old-fashioned, winery, like a big cask for beer. There's dry goods, piles or bales of flour and things like that. The rafters of the floor, and you can see where a big part of it is just collapsed. Piles and piles of stuff. But you can weed your way across the room to the other side if you would like.
Yes.
Yeah, keep going. Is there goo? Can we see goo?
There is droplets of goo on the ground. Yes, here and there.
Let's keep pushing forward.
Well, I was going to say, now might be a good time to do, investigate a mystery.
What do you want to investigate?
Well, I want to, is this thing going to collapse on us? What is else around us?
That would kind of be a read a bad situation. But you could also do a bit of an investigate here in the fact that you're, tallying up the things you've learned so far. You've, seen this thing in action now. You've seen how it reacts to things and that it can heal itself to some extent. You could potentially ask some questions about this monster now and identify that from. Yeah, I think that's fair. So do you want to read a bad situation, or do you want to investigate a mystery?
Through.
Mal does have forensic divination, which allows him to ask what magic was done here as a free question. So I can throw that investigate a mystery.
Okay.
All right, that sounds good.
Does anyone want to help out to try to give him a +1?
Yeah, I've got the helping. I'll do the helping.
Okay, so how are you going to help him out? What does your helping look like? Actually, I got a better idea because Mal is going to use magic to investigate a mystery. So why don't we have Mal explain what his magical investigation looks like and how can a mundane person assist you in that?
Well, I'm not exactly a mundane.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. What does he have you do to assist in a magical?
So he picks up some of the goo with his hand and is like kind of moving it around, and then his I feel like his eyes he's had like a minor spell where he's trying to detect some magic, and maybe like brings it over to her, and they're kind of examining it together.
Okay. All right. So, Mithril, you want to go ahead and roll your help out, or do you want to add anything to that?
Waiting for it to taste it.
I'm not going to touch that thing now that I know what it feels like on my skin. I'm just mostly curious how he's handling it without having the same kind of issue that I did.
I was just trying to make it plausible in fiction as to why we would be doing it together. But if it's going to burn me, hell no. No, thank you.
Well, in fairness, the goo that drops off of this thing is not the same thing as the venom it spit.
Okay, cool.
Ah, okay.
So you go ahead and do our investigative mystery roll.
I can do it first.
I have a helping hand, so what do I have to do for that?
Helps to help out, which is roll plus cool.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Well, that's okay. Well, actually, you don't need help out. He just kicked the hell out of that investigate a mystery roll. So,
there you go.
Investigate a mystery. You get, because you rolled a 14 and you do not have this marked as an advanced move, you get to hold 2. You can ask any of these questions plus your bonus question. So, what happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? And what is being concealed here? You can ask any of those questions, and you can ask 2 questions. You can ask one now and one later, or both now, or whatever you want to.
Okay, I got this. First question. I guess we should find out what sort of creature it is.
Okay, as we have decided outside of fiction, it is a doppelganger.
Okay.
You've positively identified it. Actually, how do you know that? How does your spell reveal the nature of this creature?
That's a good question. Okay. So you said it was some sort of ectoplasm. So he hasn't been able to catch this thing, he hasn't been as close as he is now, and the ectoplasm has degraded over time before. So this time he has a fresh sample, and it's got properties that he's seen with doppelgangers prior.
Okay, that makes sense. It's got giving off some kind of aura that you can see.
Sure.
All right. So, what's your other question?
What can hurt it?
What can hurt it? Hold on. I actually got to check my notes. I forget. Well, there's actually, I actually didn't write it down, so I'm going to make it up on the fly. There is a couple of different ways that you can harm one of these things. One way would be with a blessed dagger, a dagger that has been anointed with holy oils and prayer. That can harm it.
So just a dagger or any blessed weapon?
Well, the lore says a dagger. You could try any other weapon and see. Another way is it is rumored that basically a spike from a certain kind of tree, let's say a heartwood tree. You could make a stake or a spike from a heartwood tree, and that would disable all of its powers.
Okay. For the free question, what kind of magic was done here?
What kind of magic was done here? Actually, you can detect that a lot of magic was done here, but that magic was not related to this creature. That magic was related to something else that was going on here. Okay. There was some serious dark magic rituals going on very near to this vicinity, but all of that darkness has been completely obliterated by white light magic.
Basically, it's the cloning machine, and then the meteor blew it away.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything about any of that, but
yeah,
yes.
I know.
Yeah, so there was definitely some really strong negative magic that was being built up kind of like a battery, and you can tell that all of that energy was dispersed in almost an instant.
Mal will turn to the crew and say, so I got good news and bad news. Which one do you guys want first?
Always the good news.
The good news is we can hurt this thing. The bad news is it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Well, it's
what does it
already
cost
been a pain in the ass.
Either a blessed dagger or probably a spike made from the heartwood tree. I have no idea where to find that one.
Well,
Joseph, you're the closest we've got to a native here.
Yeah,
I think I might be able to help with that. Now, Keeper, I have a question.
Absolutely.
I was wondering if I could roll for preparedness, but not really. I guess not necessarily to have a. Not know whether or not I have a spike made out of heartwood, but where we could actually find a heartwood tree. Would that?
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Let me check.
You need a refresh on what preparedness is.
I am actually looking it up right now with my hand up
Okay.
with my handy dandy database here, except for my hunter moves are
your new thing.
yep, professional. No, not
It's
professional.
pretty neat. I checked it out.
It's coming together. So preparedness. There we go. So
He's
okay,
the
it is a
expert,
roll.
right? Yeah.
Yep. So you can roll your preparedness plus sharp. This is exactly what this one's for. When you need something rare or unusual.
Oh man.
8. So an 8 is still successful.
One more.
You have it, but not here. It will take some time to get it. So you do have one. There's actually a heartwood tree that you know of that's out by the waterfall. There's a series of waterfalls up the gorge nearby.
Send the team.
Yeah.
Well, we're still down in here. I mean, are we going to keep following this creature?
But we still have your team out.
I turned to Mal. Is there any way that you can make a like a binding spell to kind of keep this thing down here?
There absolutely is. We've just got to catch it again.
Right.
Your compass is still working, by the way.
Yeah, and that is something that I was thinking too. But I think if we could try to bind it, we might be able. I mean, that might kill a couple birds with one stone.
Okay. Do you want to try to roll or use magic to try to bind the creature to this place?
Well,
Why not?
is there another exit from this area? I mean, is it still down in the cellar with us?
You aren't hearing anything.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah, sure. Oh, come on. Don't fail me now. Okay.
Man, some hella rolls this time around. So that'll give you
no experience points. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll need to give me a glitch. So,
Sure. Let me go back to my handy dandy. Oh, gotta reload it. I had it up.
I did too, and I just closed it. What's going on? It's being really slow. There it is. Use magic. Your glitches are the effect is weakened, the effect is short duration. You take damage. It draws, or the magic draws immediate unwanted attention, or it has a problematic side effect.
Oh, we've got those sirens coming this way too.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are already on the way. Yeah, they might actually be here by now.
Yeah. I think. All right. He'll take some harm.
He'll take some harm. Okay, so you cast your spell and it starts weaving these magical energies around, and sort of like you all see like sort of like ethereal chains shoot out from Mal in every direction.
Beautiful.
And then like anchor down to the spot where he's standing. However, it seems like large chain patterns have been sort of ripped from your flesh. Mark one harm, and you're going to have some chain-shaped scars around your arms for a while. The chains glow strong. They stretch out taut.
What is that sound?
Somebody's eating something?
Sorry. I was opening some packaging. I'll mute myself. My bad.
All right, guys. We are about exactly 1 hour in. You guys mind if we take a short break?
Short break sounds good.
Maybe 10 minutes? 5 minutes. Or what do you guys think? 10 minutes or 5 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? 10 minutes today. So we'll come back at 10:45.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds
so see you
good.
guys in a few minutes.
Okay, so Mel was having injuries.
Yeah, he took a harm from. I felt like it made sense if he's gonna keep this thing down here that it taken a couple. It was only one harm.
Okay, but what happened to him? He's got like chain marks in his skin.
Yeah, from binding this thing here, so that it stays in one place while whoever else, I'm assuming Joseph, goes and gets the spike.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Plus, you get rid of the whatever siren.
Heartwood tree. Though I think I learned in class that a heartwood is just part of an actual tree.
Well, I mean, there is the heartwood of a tree.
Mhm.
So the question remains here is, in this universe, is there an actual heartwood tree, or are we looking for the heart of a specific tree?
It could also be like a medieval like term, like for something that's like completely scientific now.
Yeah, but so we don't know. Or we might be thinking about this too hard. Maybe we should just go with the fact that there's a heartwood tree, by the waterfall, by the gorge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't actually watched any of the previous videos in this series that you've been working on.
Yeah, I haven't either.
A little feared too. Oh.
I got some bad rolls last time and should have marked experience, but I don't remember.
Well, would they still be in the game room?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yes, they
Were we in this
would.
room or were we in a
Yeah,
different
they're in
one?
this one. There's a really good roll.
Yeah, I had like one really, really good roll and one really, really bad roll in the same session. Like last time.
Yeah, I see you had a roll that was an 11.
Mm-hmm. And then I had
I
and
don't
then I
know.
got a 7.
I guess
All right, cool.
yeah, Dion looks like he got pretty good rolls
I
too.
thought I was doing something that I don't know. I guess not. Cool.
Oh no, I rolled a 5. That's what it was.
Oh, you know what it was? Me and Robert did a different session, that one playtest session with that couple, and I was rolling like shit the entire night. I mean, it was 3 after 4 after 3 after 4. Not great.
That
What?
that happened.
He's coming. He had to get something to drink
He's
first.
in the same physical room as Jen. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where's Biff? I wonder where Biff is.
he'll be back. I didn't get my green screen out tonight. I was a little lazy. Been doing some touch-up work on the walls and stuff here, so all my stuff is messy.
Well, you've got a green shirt on. You can just display it on there.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, Mike was trying to figure out how to do it, and he doesn't have the screen yet. But he set up the software, and he said it was displaying on his shirt because he happened to be wearing a green shirt.
Yeah. What software is he using?
Oh, didn't you? Can you call him again? He apparently didn't get it.
Yep. He snooze, you lose. Yeah, give me a second. I gotta get back to where my email links are. Maybe I shouldn't have closed that down.
Oh, did you find it?
Yep, I found it.
Okay.
30
Oh,
seconds.
he still had the other call going. That's why.
Yeah, those are my bad. There, Domino. There he is. And added, and he's new invitation sent.
He said he sent you a new invitation. Got it? Okay. Well, you gotta, click agree to your firstborn child and whatnot, and then hit join.
Very important.
Here you are. No? Well, you got that live thing turned on already, huh?
Yeah, I started right as we started. So since I'm going to have to do some editing anyway to merge these two things together, I'll have to figure that out and then cut out any of this extra. Although I'm pretty lazy, I probably won't.
Bring in the kids going, intermission, go get your popcorn, go get your soda.
What was the movie where it entered a mission to give you just enough time to stand up and then it
There we go.
Monty Python.
Monty Python.
And,
That was-
like,
Yeah.
And it was like right in the middle of like an actual like important scene too.
Wasn't it when they were doing the the rabbit with the big nasty sharp pointy teeth?
yeah,
Yeah, like the
huge
second they moved towards it, yeah.
Yeah.
Just look at all the bones.
Oh, ha ha ha! Monty Python.
bizarre and ugly dressed enchanter. I love. I actually listened to the audio record of that before I saw the movie.
Oh my.
In the audio record, when they're introducing, Sir Robin in the scene, the way they describe the Black Knight is as being the fiercest creature for yards around.
Yards.
That's why I love that movie. Every time you go back and see it, there's always like some little detail that's really funny that you just like missed the first time.
The first 500 times.
Yeah.
My favorite one is when it's like the scene where it's like the bring out your dead scene. If you look in the background, there's an old woman beating a rug. Yeah, just beating a cat against a wall.
Oh God, really?
Yeah. I thought she was beating a rug with a cat. But
I think
no.
she's beating a cat against the wall, but I
think it's even more ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now that you say it.
That's great.
Turn
I
me
love.
into a newt.
I got better. My favorite one is the French Knights, and he's like, "Oh, oui, hurry!" And they're like,
Yeah, the French don't
let's
dare.
go. Oh, the French guys don't understand French.
Yeah.
Like fetching a book.
It's because of that movie that I always use huge tracts of land to reference,
Yeah.
the size of certain things.
Yeah, tracks of land. I don't want any land. Are you daft? We're living in a swamp. Oh, I forgot about that. It was like the king said I was daft to build a castle in a swamp, so I built it anyway. And it's sinking in the swamp. And I built a second one. It's sinking in the swamp. I built a third one. It burned down, fell over, and sank into the swamp. The fourth one stayed up.
Oh gosh.
All right, so everyone's back.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so you guys are in the basement. You've cast the spell. The ethereal chain shot out into the cardinal directions, locked down to the ground. Mal is bleeding, where like little strips of flesh were peeled off his skin in the form of chains. Like his own flesh was incorporated into that binding spell.
Ooh.
And he's in a bit of pain, but he's the magic worked.
The chicks are gonna love this.
Yeah, it's a tribal tattoo,
Chick dig it.
ritual scarification.
Will it get better?
I got better. All right, so what are you guys going to do?
You guys want to go
you can give
get
him first aid
the
or
steak
something.
so I can not
Yeah.
do this anymore?
Well, I was kind of thinking that you were going to end up being trapped down here. That's what I thought
Yep.
was going to happen.
Yep.
No. It's just you're
Oh.
not bound to the chain. The chain was created from your flesh.
Okay.
So it just
Well, that helps.
a little bit of magical backlash is all. You don't use the spell very often, so you just not.
Does he need first aid?
That's just one harm. He'll be fine.
How long can I guarantee this is gonna work?
At least till dawn.
What
Okay.
time is it now?
All right. So we gotta hoof it.
And the cops are coming.
What time is it? You guys, let's see. You left the library. You went to investigate the guy's place.
That
It was
like
sunny. It was sunny when we went to Mrs. Smith's house because the
I
curtains
think
were all
it's got to
drawn.
be at least mid-afternoon.
Yeah, I'd say late afternoon seems about right.
All right, so we gotta get over to that waterfall. I'd imagine
Cool.
it's
Meanwhile, the sirens.
Well, yeah, as you guys make your way back out, there is a police cruiser with its lights flashing pulled up by your bread van. And what is your guy's name?
Andre.
Andre is sort of leaned back against the crew or against the van with handcuffs on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
And D2, you want to describe your police officer?
Yeah. So he's the cops back then wore like weird, almost overcoats, just kind of grayscale, with a nice belt over him. And he, what he even sent out to investigate? What is the call, the disturbance?
I would say he got an anonymous phone call that there were some suspicious types lurking around the old hunting lodge that was hit by the meteor, and they're definitely trespassing, and they might be armed.
Okay.
So
All right.
that was the initial call, and when you got here, you saw the bread van that was stolen from the back of the local diner where a bunch of people were murdered.
Oh, great. Okay. So he thinks he's onto a big old case.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
And all
Yeah.
of a sudden, there's a guy sitting there, at the steering wheel, just kind of chilling out, and you come up and basically arrest him. He got out pretty much without any sort of fuss or muss, and he was chatting to you with sort of a British accent, and you put him in handcuffs. And right about that time, this group of people, these four individuals, come crawling out the window of what is left of this building.
That doesn't look suspicious at all.
Hunter's chatting him up like
Let me ask you, is Reed by himself, or does he have any officers with him?
probably by himself. This was kind of like it was a routine call, I feel like, just kind of like some hoodlums or something, and then he finds his bread pan in this place where a bunch of bad things happened, and now so he probably would have called back up once he saw the bread pan.
All right. So he called backup. Yeah, that's a good idea. So backup is on the way.
Like one whole cruiser.
Now, this town probably only has a couple. But Sheriff Reed is the only one with a new cruiser. All the other cruisers are the old-fashioned kind. So,
Got an Edsel.
yeah. All right. So, what does Officer Reed do when he sees these suspicious folks crawling out this window?
So Andre is in handcuffs, right?
Yeah, he's in handcuffs.
Okay. So I think he'd just like kind of call out like, hey, what are you guys doing over there? Hey, and he like draws his weapon and
Okay, one of them's carrying a big stick with a knife on the end of it.
he's drawing his weapon.
And I've left my lantern. I turned the lantern off and left it inside, and my gun has been pocketed.
Yeah, mine as well. I do have a question. Is the house partially destroyed because of this meteor strike, right?
Yes. The concussion wave just knocked most of it down.
Okay, so there's no actual object in. Okay, all right. Just wondering. Okay, so.
No, there is a meteor. It's in the bottom of the ditch.
Yeah, but it's like the size of a Volkswagen, though. It's not like sitting on the house.
Joseph steps forward and he says, "Good evening, officer. Sorry for the trespassing. My name is Joseph Fletcher. You may know me from the library. I also am in charge of the city's historical records. And me and a few of these fine fellows were out here trying to collect some of the meteorite for preservation in the library."
That sounds very plausible. Let's manipulate somebody on that.
And
one.
okay.
That's a good one. Very good.
Roll to manipulate him. I can believe it. That is a move.
It is a move. And now here's the question. This move works slightly different when trying to manipulate another player, but Officer Reed is technically not the PC at this moment. You're primarily playing Mal for the moment. So do you think we should run this as a PC to PC move, or should we run this as a PC to NPC move?
Oh, this is your
character. Keeper, I think it's up to you.
It's an NPC till we recruit him, right?
Well, I mean, it's really
we manipulate him.
Yeah, maybe just go ahead and run it as PC to PC. So where the hell
Okay.
is? Oh, I'm looking.
Would you like me to do the roll, or
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the roll because it's just a different sort of result.
okay? It didn't. Let me try that again.
Slash the wrong way. What's the problem?
I think that it's because it said +0.
Oh
I don't know if it likes that.
no.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm typing that in correctly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
looks
so.
like it.
Slash roll. Are you? Yeah, it should be working.
Oh,
Slash
we
roll
lose-
2d6. Did we
Side-
lose the bot?
No, not sidekick.
Oh, he's still on.
Or sidekick.
Jeez.
We lost.
We killed sidekick.
Sidekick is
Yeah.
down.
He's
Sidekick
tired of being
is.
sidekick. He wants
Yeah,
to be a
I
hero.
was about to say.
I don't know what's going on with sidekick.
Shoot.
Well, I can roll with Siri.
Nothing.
Well, that's really
Well,
weird.
what if? Oh, honey, why are you in game room 1?
Just say the word.
Actually, I'm gonna try switch. Go out of the game room. Come back into the game room. Edit channel. Did we turn it off accidentally? I don't see an option for it. Overview. No.
Yeah.
You broke it.
Oh, they had destroyed it.
Man, yeah, I tell you what, that glitch for your magic really messed things up.
It did.
I think sidekick is broken.
I don't know. Does it work in other game rooms? Like, is there any way?
I'm gonna try. I'll try through game room 3.
Yeah, it doesn't work in the landing page either.
Yeah, it seems to be dead. Maybe it's died a horrible screaming death. All right, let's I'll give you a roll for our party here. Here you
Didn't
can
we find out that the Google Hangout had one of these too?
Yeah, in the regular chat.
it used to. Let's see if that works.
How do we get to the regular chat?
There's a little blue
There it is.
Look at that.
No.
let's see how about
Oh, I got it in the Google Hangout one.
oh good hang on one. Let me try that.
Yeah. Where our video call is.
Yeah, I see it.
Wait, so like right next to our video call, or
No, it would be in a separate window.
Yeah, it's in the Google Hangouts.
So on your
window.
Gmail, click on the.
okay, yeah.
Oh, I don't have Hangouts running. Let me
Okay, I got 10 on that roll.
Okay. Well, let's just go roll with it from there. We'll just honor system. For a hunter on the 10 plus, if they do what you ask, they mark experience and get +1 forward. So, what is your outcome? What are you trying to achieve?
My outcome is to get him to put down his gun and, since I don't really know who that is, walk away, or kind of like get him to at least not arrest us for trespassing.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So Leo kind of lower his weapon and say, "You guys didn't bother getting a permit to. This isn't just public property anymore. There's a lot of bad stuff happened here. And now it's really dangerous. You realize that, right?"
I straighten my glasses and I'm like, yes, that's why I brought my strapping young friend Biff here. That's why he brought a weapon, just in case there was trouble.
Digging the meteorites out of the ground with the knife.
Mm-hmm. that as well. We just wanted a fragment for the library to kind of put on display. I feel like it would be a great centerpiece for modern history in the making.
Okay. Now, you tell me exactly where you got this bread van from. Because we believe that it was stolen.
And at this point, Joseph kind of like looks a little bit like at
Wasn't it here when we
Mithril
got here?
and Andre like,
Yeah, Andre will kick in here. It's like, if you allow me, sir, this van was purchased by my agency roughly 3 weeks ago. We have the title. If you would free my hands, I would be happy to get it for you out of the glove compartment.
All right. Don't make any sudden moves now. And he's gonna.
Yeah. So he goes over to the driver or the passenger side and slides the door open and reaches into the glove compartments, looks at you, and then pulls out a piece of paper and walks over and hands it to you. And it does look legit. It looks like maybe perhaps this isn't the same van. You could have swore it was, but yeah, the numbers don't match. So yeah, it's must be
the droid you're looking for.
He slapped it. All right. You kids. He's gonna get on his radio. Yeah, please cancel that call. We have no
Roger.
distance. You kids, guys, be safe around here. There's some weird stuff going on.
of course, sir. We wouldn't have it any other way.
And with that, Leo will tip his hat, get in his car, and drive off.
All right. So the fuzz has been dealt with, at least for the time being. All right. So you guys got out a little bit of hot water there. I have a feeling you'd be seeing that officer again here in the very near future. You never know. So
He's gonna be watching.
what did you pull?
I'm like going, I don't remember that model of car.
Look, the sidekick's working now. It's just a lag.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, it's bumping off.
Did it just finish up with all our rolls?
Yeah, yep.
Whoa,
Oh,
dude.
Oh dear. Well, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad we had to switch over because that is a 3 on my first roll. Holy crap!
Wow.
I think at that point, I'm pretty sure it would have been like sent to jail. 5 years.
Shot?
Yeah, I just get shot at that point.
They give you a complimentary shiv around here, I think.
Yeah.
From what tree? From what tree? We
Oh,
might.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The hardwood tree. An interesting place for you to find that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So we're after the heartwood now, right?
All right, so you
Well,
guys.
no, it is 11 o'clock.
Well, it's late afternoon, I think. As
No,
well.
I mean, it's 11 o'clock in real time.
Oh yeah, you guys. We normally schedule to 11:30, but we can.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure we were aware.
Yeah, we have half an hour left. If you guys are tired and want to cut out, we can and pick it up here next time, or we can go for another half an hour. Your choice.
Yeah.
I'm
ready
pretty
to hit for the,
exhausted.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can go for till 11:30. Definitely. I was just feel like if other people.
Well, you know what? We could.
He's still catching up.
our
Oh, there's your 6 plus 6 plus 0. It finally
There it
figured it out. You just confused the hell out of it. It's like, how am I supposed to add 0 to something?
Yeah.
I think it was taking a nap. All right, let's go ahead and go through up to. Well, let's play for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
get to a much better stopping point than this.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a few things I've been wanting to introduce this session that I haven't got a chance to yet. So, all right, so you guys get in the van and you drive off, through the late afternoon sun off into where they're building this new park called Clifty Falls. You find the trail, and how are you going to go about finding this tree?
Yeah, who knows what it looks like?
Well,
Well, I
I
thought
Mr.
he knew
Librarian?
specifically which one it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. Denny, or not Denny, forget Joseph actually has been here before. How does Joseph know about this tree?
he kind of when he was doing the previous librarian kind of took him on like a tour of the town, and he showed him like this park, and this tree was called
Is it not the Lover's Leap?
yeah, kind of. It's like sort of like a popular destination just because it's such a strange looking tree, and it's kind of older looking and pretty like it's like a massive tree, so it's kind of like a romantic spot.
Yeah, and why is this particular tree so special to the people of the town, especially the teenagers?
Well, it's kind of like a popular place for kids to go and hang out. Like maybe hang out, drink, smoke a doobie. It definitely serves as kind of like a makeout point type.
Well, Mithril is reading the plaque at the bottom of the tree and finds out that this is where the founder and his wife were proposed.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, so it's kind of a romantic.
yeah, okay. As you guys get up to the tree, and as you do, a young couple comes wandering down the lane with a picnic basket and a blanket and the whole 9 yards. Sees you guys there. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to, or we didn't know this was occupied today.
What, you got to make an appointment?
What are you guys doing with that axe?
Axe?
Well, we as director of the historical society, it is part of my duty is also oversee the removal of a few dead branches on the big tree here. Because it has this historic significance, it's a historical site. I just wanted to make sure that the tree would remain intact and available for use for lovely couples such as yourself.
All right, so let's have you make a manipulate somebody roll to see if you can get them to just go away.
All right, let's see what we got. Should I try to use sidekick or?
Yeah, go for it.
It seems like it's working now.
But don't use 0 again.
Yeah.
It's like trying to calculate pi.
It's being crazy slow.
Yeah, back to the other one.
Yeah, I'll go back to the Google Hangout one.
All right. I don't even have that open at the moment. You guys tell me what it is. It's fine.
Okay. It shows your picture there.
42.
By the way,
42.
Oh God, I got a
3.
I got a 3.
A 3.
You know I'm not lying because it's a 3. Oh dear.
So on a miss, did I not have a miss in here? All right, that's kind of they say I don't know. I think you guys shouldn't be messing around with this tree. This tree is a historical thing. We shouldn't be cutting on it.
Okay, well, I'm going to move my coat back and let them see my gun and say, we really need to be in this area right now. We'd like you to leave.
Okay, now they look terrified.
Call the cops.
Girls like, come on, Johnny, come on, we go somewhere else. Yeah, they kind of go back up over the hill. And
I kind of look at Mithra. I'm just like, what the heck are you doing? These are innocent people.
Okay, look, they were going to give us a problem. We need the tree. We'll be out of here in 5 minutes.
Oh God. I have like a reputation to uphold.
Well, I didn't believe you anyway.
Fair. All right, I guess.
Besides, what was the historical pruning going to be about? That wasn't really a very good story.
Well, okay. I'm sorry that I tried to have a little bit of some finesse besides pointing or threatening a innocent newlywed couple.
Who knows what they wanted to do there anyway?
They were really annoying, though.
Yeah, they were.
They kind of deserved it. Yeah, for me. They definitely deserved the aggravated intimidation.
I've been spit on with monster goo today. I'm not in the best mood, okay?
All right. That's
And then Mal's gonna show her the flesh wounds and go, yeah, you got it.
See?
I've
Alright.
had worse. All right, so you guys were able to get a pretty decent sized branch. Are you going to take more than one or just one branch?
I think we need more than one. We need backup. One each.
I think
One
we need
each.
one
Well, if it's
No.
a long,
Definitely bring
are these like
one.
long branches or kind of like little?
Well, it's a huge tree, so you guys can climb up.
Well, do we want? We need living wood though. We don't want dead wood, right?
Well, once you cut it off, it's going to technically be dead. But I'd say that once you cut a branch off and shape it down into a spike, it's gonna be good for a couple of days, maybe even a week. How long does it take? About a month for wood to season, right?
Yeah, 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months. So yeah,
But we don't want to get something that fell off and is already dead. So we
yeah,
need
you
something
definitely
fresh.
you want to take something live off the tree, but you can do so without actually hurting the tree. It's huge.
Right. So we'll let Biff use his big stick with a knife on it to
Yeah. Extract.
With surgical precision.
All right, Mr. Lumberjack, you're able to chop a couple of big, decent size bits off, and you guys are you gonna head back to the library to make your weapon.
sounds good.
All right.
We head back out to the parking lot and there's that couple talking to the policeman. No.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's a gravel lane. So you guys are able to make it back to the library without any real obstacle. And when you get to the library, the phone is ringing.
I guess I go and answer it. Hello.
Oh, may I speak with Mithril Steel, please?
Of course. Mithril.
This is Metro.
Lady Mithril, it's what's his name? Freaking your mentor guy.
Raphael.
Raphael. This is Raphael. I have arrived at the Wright Cathedral in Indianapolis and have spoken with management. I wish to inform you that Rector Agnes Liechtenstein is taking an interest in your administration of the team and is on her way to meet with you.
Really?
Mhm.
When should I expect her?
She should be there in probably 2 days.
Is there a code word? Do I know it's her?
Is there a code word? Does your team have code words?
Well, there should be something.
The code word is shield.
Shield. Right.
And the answer would be hammer.
Okay.
Right. So Agnes Liechtenstein is the rector of this area. So she's like she's basically in charge of this latitude or this longitude of the Midwest. So she is like your direct supervisor, and you are technically what would be considered a prior.
Oh, okay. I got a promotion.
Well, you got a promotion like 2 or 3 sessions ago.
Right, when I got my own team.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the role. So she's on her way. What was it we sent him there for?
Let me go back a few pages.
He went to investigate something. Then you sent the other guy to investigate something else. Was it the sample from the ritual device?
Hold on, I'm looking. We sent him off to look up stuff in the archives. And that was back when we had the tunnel, or the
That was
the
before
motor oil and the rosewood and
Yeah, that was before the meteor strike.
yeah.
Okay, so he tells you he will call you back tomorrow.
And then we sent Newman after the meteor strike with a piece of meteor.
Well, yeah, with the chip from the meteor, glowing
Yeah.
with like little blue, translucent things. Yeah, he has not arrived yet, but Raphael is there, and he has access to the library tomorrow. Is there anything specific you would like to know?
Well, I bring him up to date on the doppelganger and ask him if we have any other data available there about it.
Okay.
And if there's been further sightings, if this is, is this a bigger situation or is it unique to this area? Is there a history of it in this area? Just stuff like that.
All right. He's going to get you more information, but in the meantime, you have a move called Mentor,
Okay.
which you
Except he's
can.
not actually my mentor anymore because he's
Not
younger
really,
now.
but kind of still is. I think it applies here. That which,
Okay.
if you do, you know what? Actually, let's hold off on that. You're right. He's not really your mentor. He is a subordinate, and he's there getting information for you. We need to find. Actually, that's the point of bringing Agnes. She's going to kind of take his place as your mentor.
Okay, I kind of figured that's what was going on there.
Yeah, that's what I forgot. That's what I really had planned for that. So she's on the way. He's doing research, and you've asked him to look up any relevant information with doppelganger lore, and he will call you back tomorrow night at this time.
Sounds good.
And hopefully your other fellow will get there about that time as well. What is everybody else doing in the library?
I'm going to go and to the lore library and pore over stuff about like incidents of like shapeshifters or like specifically doppelgangers to try and see if there's anything else that we could use on this thing.
Oh, I like that. So you lore library, does that give you like a +2? I forget what lore library is.
It gives me a +1 forward when I quote unquote hit the books. It gives me a +1 forward to investigate the mystery.
I like that. So
cool.
let's go ahead and make that investigate a mystery roll now, because you now know what you're dealing with, and you're using your lore library specifically to investigate. Of course, is this dice roller thing going to work? Probably not. You're going to use the Hangout?
Yeah. Hangouts.
Okay. So, am I rolling to investigate a mystery?
Yes, you are.
Right. So, what does it mean if I have a forward to it?
A +1 forward means you just add +1 one time.
To my roll?
Yeah.
Roll, yeah.
Two
If
dice.
that would be
that
like
doesn't mean like every time he does it?
That's ongoing.
Our ongoing is every time. Yeah, +1 forward means to your next roll.
Oh, okay.
Usually, +1 forward would be like +1 forward to any roll, unless it's specified. In this case, it's saying +1 forward to your next investigative mystery roll. So he could technically not make that investigative mystery roll now. He's just prepared from reading the books. He can then make the roll when you encounter another clue. But I think that you have made enough discoveries in this session to warrant more information. So
Yeah.
you're willing to give it if you want to do it.
All right, I'll do it.
So make
And I
it
got
work.
an 11.
You got an
Yeah.
11. Two
Ooh.
questions.
All right, 2 questions. What did we already find out? It was the we found out the
You found
thing.
out that it is a doppelganger. You've learned that.
We
You
found out
found
2
out
of
what
its
can-
weaknesses.
2 of its weaknesses. What can hurt it?
Mm-hmm.
It may
I'm
have
gonna go-
other weaknesses.
Okay, so one of the questions I'm going to ask is, what was it going to do? Like, is there a historical, like if in like the books and stuff, reading to see like if there's any like precedent for like what an end game for a doppelganger is, if it has one, like if they are
Like,
tied.
why is it here? What is its purpose of being here at this time?
Okay, you're not able from the books to discover what maybe this specific one might be up to, but in general, there's lots of lore coming from ancient Ireland all the way through to modern times of legends of these things, and what they typically do is steal the lives of individuals, but the life that they steal is almost like sustenance. They cannot hold a given life for more than a couple of weeks. Their disguise begins to deteriorate, and then the time that they hold the life, they tend to steal everything about the life. So all the financial resources, sometimes they get attracted to power, like political power, financial power, wealth, anything that could be transferred away in some way, shape, or form. They very often act as assassins and or political machinations. They get in
So
there.
like,
Make a good Manchurian candidate.
on paper, basically, it's famous people have like disappeared, reappeared, and then like disappeared for good.
Yeah, and usually what has led to their downfall is that they get overconfident and they try to hold too many identities at once, and each time it shifts back to an identity that it previously held, it degrades that identity to some extent. So if the one that is the grand or Mrs. Smith, in theory, changes back to Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith wouldn't be as a perfect a copy this time around. There may be something wrong, an eye out of place, wrong hair color, bad
And
stench.
so is that why Mrs. Smith was looking kind of like messed up when she was in the basement, or?
Very likely.
All right, and I guess
She also had her face stuffed full of staph and suffered a gunshot wound.
And a bullet, yeah.
But,
yeah, that's true. I'm gonna go with also what can hurt it, just to see if there's any other weaknesses that these things have, like historically. Maybe there's something in a book somewhere.
You've already discovered the two primary ways of hurting it. Another way to hurt it would be to show it itself in a mirror when it's undisguised, when it's in its natural form. But there's no description of what that natural form could be.
Interesting. All right, and I think that'll do it for.
All right.
I'm curious. I don't know whether or not. I guess maybe this is something that hopefully Raphael will be able to find. But if it stole Mrs. Smith's identity and maintained it long enough for it to degrade before stealing Mr. Smith, did it form an emotional attachment to the husband and the child?
That's a good question. I don't think you have enough information to really identify that now, but you could go seek out the child.
That is something I do want to do.
All right.
What? You want to bring a child into this?
No, I don't want to bring a child into it, but I am concerned about the child because both of his parents are now dead.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned that the child either is a child or B, another doppelganger, which means if it's another doppelganger, the family that it's with is also in danger. And, it just gets worse and worse.
I'll hand the child over to Sheriff Reed.
Or worse yet, the child is like a new doppelganger for all we know. That's how they reproduce.
Right. Yeah, that was a question we could have asked too. How do they make more of themselves?
That's a good question. All right. Now it is actually 11:23, which only gives us, about 5 or 6 more minutes left. Why don't we wrap it up at this point? There was one more thing I was going to want to do, but I don't think I can wrap that up in 5 minutes. So we'll put a pin in it here. Hopefully next session we can wrap this mystery up. I think you know how to hurt it. You know where to find it. There's a couple other wild cards that are out there you haven't really discovered yet, but I don't think they're going to be earth-shattering. We should be able to wrap this mystery up in the next session and get ready to start into the next one. We failed to do the end of session move last time around, so we're going to go ahead and do that for both that session and this session. And I didn't put that in there, did I? Let's see. End of session. So the questions are, did we, talking about last session, did we conclude the current mystery? No. Did we save anybody from certain death or worse? I don't think so. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
Learn what a doppelganger is.
Yeah.
Last session, I think that counts. Did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters?
Well, we met Mail and
Yeah.
learned about his magical abilities.
Thing that I found. So we got 2. So you answer 1 or 2 yeses. Everybody marks 1 XP. So
Ooh.
go ahead on the character keeper and mark an XP there. Also, the police
Level up for
officer
me.
the police officer gets to mark 1 XP for being manipulated, if you haven't already done so.
So do Biff and I get to lose the harm we had from the last time?
Not yet, because we're kind of in the same day.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you want to go to the hospital, get treated, or take some.
I mean, Joseph's
physical
got his
action.
little infirmary down there, but
Yeah, but you haven't actually had time to sit and recover. You've been on the go,
Okay.
go, go. I don't think it makes sense to heal that up just yet. Although you have a magic user with you, could potentially work some mojo on you.
oh look, he even put his scars in there. Good job.
Ah,
Nice, nice, nice.
Well,
'Cause I'll
I'm
forget.
still kind of wondering whether or not my doppelganger goo armor is going to come off, or if that's
Yeah.
permanently a part of my collarbone.
Well, no, it's part of your costume. You were wearing some kind of
Okay.
like leather because you have armor, right?
Well, it says it's mithril. It's mithril, like mesh.
Oh, it's like a mesh undershirt kind of thing.
Yeah, mithril chain shirt.
All right, so it was eating through that, and that is now hardened. It's basically an ablative plate, so it gives you an extra +1 armor for the next time you take damage, and then that will consider to have been absorbed, so it'll go back to normal after that.
Oh, okay.
All right, end of session for this time. Did we conclude the mystery? No. Did we save somebody from certain death? No.
Save one of you guys from
Oh.
one of the other hunters from getting shot.
Yeah, well, I mean,
yeah.
and I didn't really save Biff, but no.
Yeah, that wasn't really
Just
certain
helped,
death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we learn something new and important about the world? I think that's a yes. What did we
Yes.
More
more
about
about
her.
doppelgangers.
Well, yeah, we learned about how to kill the doppelganger.
Yeah.
hmm
A lot about how they work. I'm surprised no one asked what can it do, what are its powers, but that's okay. We'll get to that. And did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters? I don't think so.
I don't think you did.
So it's
Not
just
this
one
session.
EXP?
Just one. Yeah, we got 1 XP for last time, 1 XP for this
We
time.
learned that Joseph can bust through doors pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I had 2 to begin with this session, would I have 4 total now?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
XP. Yes.
hmm
And it looks like Biff's ready to level up.
Yep.
So give some thought to that. Also, on the next session, I would like to see the exit of Mal and the entrance of Reed, Officer Reed.
I don't think that'd be a problem because Mal's kind of like a loner anyway.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't-
unless Yancey can actually make it.
yeah. At this point, he's like not showing up for 3 straight. I think it's time to like put a pen in his invitation at this point. Besides, I think this quantity of players, 4 active players, is a pretty good balance. Having 5, for instance, we had 1 combat tonight, and you guys took absolutely no damage. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's going to be.
She was weak.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make
With some good
tougher
rolls.
monsters if we have 5 players. So, yeah, let's try to stick with this group for now. If he wants to come in, I'm thinking about after the 4th of July holiday when we start this back up. Maybe I'll start alternating with a second group on another night because it's a little easier for me to do these late night evening sessions than it was for me to do the weekend face-to-face games because family, as you saw, like we were playing for half an hour and the kids went to bed and it was quiet here. Although I just can't stay up too late because I got to work tomorrow. So
Yeah, so do we.
So yeah, a 2-hour session seems to work really good. We don't get as much done, but I think we're making some good role play.
Yeah.
So did anybody, is there anything in particular you guys like this session?
Kicking ass.
Yeah, you really got to do some. We
Still,
still haven't really done more about. We need to do more with Biff's destiny. We still haven't really touched on that Biff
I'm sure we're
doppelganger
gonna
yet
get there.
either.
That is a good point. Give some thought to, I'm supposed to work your destiny into this mystery. which I've got some ideas for, but I haven't really made anything happen yet. So I'd like you to also give some thought as to what your destiny, how your destiny can play in to this mystery, and we need to get it in the next session or so. So maybe at the beginning of next session we can talk about any ideas you might have. I like the way that Joseph and Manny and even Reed, even though we only met him for one scene, are kind of shaping into this thing. And really, this particular monster is not the biggest, baddest monster I've thrown at the group, but it's a really good getting started monster. And my next monster is going to be a lot more fun. So I think I want to stabilize this group. Like I said, get Officer Reed as the main character. So we've established a nice coherent party when we go into the next mystery. So
yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how he blends in with us.
Yeah. What?
Oh, sorry. I was just asking. What is? Oh, is he like a professional? Is he a
mundane?
It says he's the mundane, so he has no magic or anything, huh?
Oh, that should be
correct.
The nice thing about the mundane playbook is, one, it's really good at helping other people.
Yes.
And two, he's like an experienced machine. He can get captured, and he's got all sorts of moves that let him earn extra XP.
I noticed he's got more moves than the rest of us.
Yeah, because he has less power.
Oh.
One of the things with playbook construction is if a move is balanced, it's equally bad as it is good. It doesn't cost what would be called a move point to add it to the playbook. So yeah, it's kind of a cool. I actually, the next time I play as a player, I want to play a mundane. That's my next.
I'm excited because he can also use 11 points of luck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
11?
Awesome.
Really?
Yep.
You're going to add more squares.
There are four improvements where I get to get back an expended luck slot. Yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool. But I'm going to need it because he's bait.
He gets
XP from going off on his own and getting captured a lot, and so I'm assuming there's going to be some.
Do you have what could go wrong?
I don't have what could go wrong, but I was thinking about taking that either next level or the level after.
That one's great.
Yes.
But anyway, I really like this group. I really like the way Joseph is shaping up, and like you guys came up with that whole, I'm the town historian, and then bringing your lore library to bear, and this one was really good too. So it's going to be fun. We should have some kind of. I actually suspect there's going to be 2 battles in the next game when you guys confront this creature and defeat it in a final battle. And then I have some ideas for how to introduce the next bit that's going to come into play after that. So right now, I call this campaign the Gears of Heaven, but the divine aspects of it haven't really manifested yet, other than you did have an opportunity to go look for a holy dagger, which we ended up not going in that direction. But we'll see where this goes. You guys enjoyed the game so far?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
It's really coming into its own.
I was going to say, we still have, Mel has that ritual knife, so it's still conceivable that we could find a way to bless it.
Yeah. Well, technically, use magic has the ability to enchant a weapon, and I would almost make that count. I might make you take some extra time to do it, to do like a really coherent ritual to enchant the dagger, and that would then count as.
And then I was going to say, my silver sword might also be.
Yeah, I think you can enchant some weapons before you go after this thing. So that might be something to think about before you head out again.
Yeah, he could have been doing that while we were at the Haven too. Could work that in or something.
Sure. All right. Well, I'll see. We're not going to play next week because of the holiday, but we will play in 2 weeks. And I'd like to see where this thing wraps up. Sorry that Sidekick pooped out on us tonight. I don't know what the hell happened there.
I'm
It
dark
was interesting.
All right,
And
guys.
I'm not exactly mad because that 3 would have been real bad in that
True.
situation.
Well, and you ended up it got you back with the 3 later.
Man,
Yeah.
I was so waiting for somebody to roll badly while you guys were in that, ruin of a building.
they all
And it's just
rolled
like
out. I was waiting
8,
for Matt to
9,
get
10, 10, 10, 12, 13, 12, 10. I'm like, come on. I just so wanted to drop the building on you guys.
I wondered why it was
No.
rattling around like that.
I just, it was that move is like indicate future badness or something like that. Also, playing this time and trying to use my little or my keeper library or my keeper database gave me some ideas for how to improve it for use during play. I need to find a way to bookmark
Yes, that'd be cool.
sets of moves so that you don't have to search for them each time. You can
Yeah.
go in and pick them and add them to like a queue or something. So you're like, for this session, here's all the moves that I plan to use.
Well, or rearrange it so that you can just pick all the initiative moves or all the without having to search for it.
Well, you can do that. You can go in and say, hunter moves, then playbook moves, then initiate, and it'll give you all the initiate moves.
But you're talking about making it into a bookmark so you can just save that page.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, what I would like to do is give it like, create maybe what would you call that? A deck, like a deck of cards, and then you can go and say, here's my list. I'm going to call this list player 1, and I can go pick all of these moves and add them into player 1 stack, and then I can add all these moves into player 2 stack, add all these moves to player 3 stack, and then during play, I would just see like these stacks on the screen, and then if I want to see what can Mithril do, I click on Mithril, and it would expand and show me all of the moves that Mithril has available in one shot. And then I can drill down into them, just like a sort of like a card deck kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. That's really cool.
Oh,
So, what's the difference between a playbook feature and a playbook move?
Okay,
because I notice there's only 2 subtypes under playbook feature: the divine and the chosen.
Because I haven't entered them all in yet. So what a playbook what differentiates a playbook feature and a playbook, and this is my own terminology, it doesn't exist in the actual game. A playbook feature is just another move. But there are certain moves in each playbook that are core to the playbook concept, and they have choices that are made when the playbook is taken. For instance, the expert's haven. The expert has a haven, and then you can pick. I have a lore. I can pick like 3 things. I have a lore library, I have a med bay, and a panic room. Right. So you can pick those 3 things. Each of those things that you pick are not a move by themselves, but they're part of a bigger move. Does that make sense? I consider that to be a playbook feature, so that when you, as a player, and you have an advancement called take a move from another playbook, if you look at the playbook, moves have their own section, and those things are not in there. So I assume that when you choose a move from another playbook, you can choose a move from another playbook, but not a feature. The features are core to that playbook's style, unless, of course, you get special permission from the keeper. Like, I have Joseph died, and we still have his haven. I would like to take his haven as my playbook move.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, okay. I think if you justify it in the fiction, then you can do it. So that's why I call them differently, because I wanted, one, to call it out as being something separate from a regular move, but also because they have what in my database are called playbook options. Move options. In my database, I have a moves table, which has the name of the move, the trigger, the stat, and the description. And then a lot of times there are bullet lists, like the use magic. You have your effects and your side effects or your glitches, right? You have those. you depending every time you cast the spell, you might pick a different one, right? So
Right,
those
like
are
like Bill was doing earlier.
right. They're all available to you all the time, and then you pick the one you want to use. But with a feature, there are pick lists, but you pick them when you take the move, not every time you use the move. So I have what's called a move option, which is a move option is a set of options, and then there's option items, which each option can be like a little mini move. Right. So those are assigned, and the reason those are split out is I eventually want to turn this thing into a character, a character wizard that you can use to make characters and export them into whatever else. Um, what I would like to do there is when you go to the playbook and you want to be a spell slinger, and you go to build your battle magic, it gives you those checkboxes, and you can check which ones you want, and then it goes into your playbook, and the other ones don't until such a time as you add them.
That's a good idea. That'll be useful.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm going with that. Now, maybe I shouldn't put those as features in the main search thing, but sometimes I can see a reason why, okay, I want to look up the Haven, right? I don't care about the other moves, so looking at that is separate. But if you don't select the type, if you just select Hunter move, you get all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right.
I don't know. Okay,
I-
I've been blathering on for 20 minutes. So, you guys, anything else you want to talk about before we go?
I gotta get to bed.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for playing, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.